Dude, why? There is no need for that. There's no need for that. Why are you doing that? Like, what's with the line? I sniffed my first line. Whoa. It's another day. And I told you last time I was going to make another video reading my own writing. This story follows a homeless guy who goes from a good guy to a thief or a monster or something like that. A criminal, basically. Yes. It is, I thought at the time, you see, last time I showed you like a terrible writing that I did. Well, I thought this was what came after that. So, you know, I thought this was an improvement. Like, I thought I was becoming very, very good. And this is, the first sentence is the worst sentence you'll ever read. It is of no relevance to you. Walk off and you'll live better days. If you choose to stay though, I promise you'll be late for work. Why? Oh my God. You see, what's wrong with this sentence is that it's trying to be witty, but at the same time, it establishes nothing about the story. It is not a hook. It's not a hook. It's trying to be witty, but it fails at any and all of the wit that you would expect from actually good authors. Last time, I actually wrote better. Can you imagine? Last time, I had a better first sentence. Still, most of it was just a mistake. No different from the one my mother made. Okay, there is at least in the first paragraph, the prose is awful, but in the first paragraph, there is at least a hint of a regret, a hint of character change. This was attempting to actually be a lot more literary. Can you imagine this? I was trying to actually be literary, meaning Darnell is a homeless black American in New York who turns to crime after tough times. I am writing like this, but I'm trying to write a literary story. That's how bad I was. Now let's talk about the same problem I had last time. Okay, he goes on a diatribe about his childhood, which is not bad. However, I would suggest he spends, you know, some time in the beginning. And so, as you can see, essentially, all of this, which is, this entire thing is a diatribe about his childhood. It is what he went through. It's an info dump in the after the first paragraph, which is awful. But why is it awful specifically? It's a literary story. Given a background of the character is not bad. Okay, what's bad is doing it this early. Okay, you want to do this in chapter 4 or chapter 5 or some later chapter. You want to do it in the middle of the story. You don't want to do it here. In here, you want to mostly be focusing on this on starting from here. All right. After that diatribe, he writes again. Well, let's start. So we run into another problem with this story. You have a false beginning here. This is a false beginning. It's not an actual beginning. Then this is another false beginning, which is it's not an actual beginning to the story. And then you finally have a third sentence as the official beginning. So just start here, man. Just start here. God help your mother. This is so bad. This needs editing, but also the prose got worse. The protagonist asks for money, and the billionaire guy just punches the shit out of him. So I called him Benjamin because of the money and Scrooge. What the heck, bro? Busted my nose. It was around noon in my usual spot, and the wet summer sun was boiling the parts of my body the winter jacket didn't cover. My grimy face, squished neck, and poking hand. I had to hop like I did when I sniffed my first line because the cobblestone sidewalk was cooking my poor feet. Okay, so, bro, we're talking about the cobblestone sidewalk being hot, okay? Being just hot. why are we bringing over cocaine or some hardcore drugs? Dude, why? There is no need for that. There's no need for that. Why are you doing that? Like, what's with the line? I sniffed my first line. Whoa. That's just not the, like, look, it's not a proportionate response. This is a disproportionate response. I chuckled my pen and reached out for one white-dressed Wall Street to another. Forgot to mention, I was a glance away from Wall Street, 2 blocks south. So this guy is a homeless black guy who is panhandling near Wall Street. All right. Maybe you should have mentioned that a little bit ago. Okay, finally he's going into the location. Yeah, like up to this point, right? Up to this point, we have no idea where the protagonist is. We have no idea where the protagonist... There's no position established. Finally. All right. It also, you should just write Wall Street completely. It wasn't a spot for bums like me, but I was a keen bum. But I was a keen bum, you know? I was a hard-working bum. Also, bum, I don't know. He describes himself as that. It's kind of, you know. Anyway. And knew if you wanted water in a desert, you shouldn't chase after mirages like everyone else. Hunting for the whites with the Benjamin was the idea, and it worked like a charm. Money trailed these Wall Street bears and bulls, and where I slouched was the path they took. This one time, this dude couldn't find anything less than 100 in his pocket, so he tossed me one. Bro, no one is gonna let you. Something is wrong with this. No one is gonna allow you to freaking panhandle near Wall Street, even close to it by 1,000 miles, man. There is police and guards everywhere. It's the most important financial center in the world. You think they're just gonna let some random guy panhandle there? I'm not sure if there's, probably, but I should have done more research. I just picked Wall Street because it was like a lot of money. Okay, he needs to go to a place with a lot of rich people so that he can, you know, they can punch him and he can have a, you know, a villain episode or something like that. That's why I'm doing all of this. That's why we're going through all of this. And he gets hit. Another issue that always plagues this is just a lot of the unnecessary additions that I add. So I'll have a simile, right? Then what will happen is that I will add more to it, right? There'll be more similes on top of more similes, right? So, for example, you have Blitzer laid like a sloth on a vacation. All right, so Blitzer laid, this is some character. He laid like a sloth. That's good enough. That's good enough. All right. Then he adds on a vacation. His best efforts locked in his skull. I don't know where he's going with that. But after a while of taking in Clara's gossipish spoolage, okay, a while long enough to get me asking for a finishing period, I left her and explored the scene. So this one is also another example of what I'm talking about. What this does is it just hammers any and all efficiency that could be possible or could be obtained by just being forward pointed. Okay, it's not basically brevity. All right, brevity. There is no brevity with this guy. He's always adding stuff. This story is what, 71,342,000 words? I just don't think it is. It's probably no more than just 50,000. The whole story, because it lacks so much forward momentum. He never goes anywhere with it. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why, but this is the funniest paragraph I've ever seen. This is the funniest paragraph I've ever seen. I had no idea of any computer programming knowledge. At least I do now, because I mean it's been a long time. I can at least do C programming or C language. So I understand some of the basic stuff and how softwares like Ruby work. So I understand a little bit about hacking, okay, actual hacking. So this story, in this particular bit here, there's there's this character that is hacking information. And there is the funniest and the weirdest ways to describe anything. He plugged a tiny mechanical USB into Big's computer. Big is like the villain of the story, so, you know, I called him Big. Anyway, very creative. He told me he had programmed it with sharp teeth. There is no such thing in the real world. Okay, sharp teeth, there is no such thing. I just didn't want to do research. Tech talk for stealing your bank info. No, nigga, that's called phishing. Dude, that's called phishing. Anyway, the USB kindled once he sat on Big's chair. He pierced few files on the computer. Pierced, alright. Then a green window dotted with bullet point lines of noodly code popped up. Bullet point lines of noodly code. Noodly, alright, code that popped out. Peekaboo style. Alright. Bro, I think he's talking about the command window that you see in movies. In movies, they have this nonsense.
No way. I'm getting hacked.
A port scan?
No, this is major. They've already burned through the NCIS public firewall.
Well, isolate the node and dump them on the other side of the router.
I'm trying. It's moving too fast.
Oh, this is not good.
It's what he, okay, yes. This is what he's trying to describe. He's trying to describe the way movies depict hacking, but he's trying to do it in a novel, and he didn't even do the most basic research about hacking. And so he has stuff like this. This should be phishing anyways. It was as if playing hide and seek with me. So in general, the main culprit for this is, at the time I had this idea of, I just need to dive into the story. There's no need to research. I just need to write from my heart. There is nothing wrong with writing from your heart, but you only do that if you're writing a fantasy story where you can make up stuff. So, and whatever you make up are the rules for the world, right? But this is supposed to be a literary story, or he's trying to write a literary story or something of that sort. And doing this bad research is just going to cripple any attempt that you have in writing anything. And also, this is supposed to be the ending, right? So eventually he gives himself in. This guy goes and he surrenders and he gives himself in. It is one of the funniest paragraphs I've ever written, because it's the worst way to end a story. This is supposed to be a serious moment. The protagonist, after being a criminal for a long while, he hands himself over to the NYPD, which is the New York Police Department. I walked into the NYPD, nose before brains, and men with police uniforms pointed guns at me. Anyway, I don't know. Given I was a listed black man with a leak in money bag, he has a money bag. He has a bag of money. I mean, he walks into NYPD with a bag of money that is leaking. All right. I feared they might blow my black face. The police had surely shown the knack. This is something you might have just noticed. Black face, knack, man, bag. I'm trying to rhyme. That's why it's the funniest thing. I am trying to rhyme in the end of the story. Like, I'm just, at this point, I'm just doing anything. And I do appreciate that, because it was like 5 years ago. So I was just trying to do anything, learning and improving. God help. God blessed I can learn, because I am so happy I can realize that this is bad writing. I am so happy. Thank God I can actually learn stuff. Oh my God. Anyway, so I'm trying to rhyme here. In the end of the story, in the most serious, climactic moment, emotionally speaking, for the character's redemption. Still, I showed no gun and dropped on my cabs. You see, face, neck, cabs, right? My hands behind my back. Fear isn't the right word. If I am to rephrase, I feared, yeah, but I wanted my death to be stamped by the man on the chair, not by splattering or by dying a hated man, but by clearing my name, especially from the thug tag. Bro, what thug tag? Okay, why are you trying to rhyme? This is not a hip-hop song. This is not a rap song. You're not trying to rap. You're trying to write a novel. I don't know about rhyming in a freaking novel, but if you're going to do it, why don't you do it in a silly moment? In a silly moment that is relevant for the story, not in the climactic moment when he walks into the NYPD and surrenders himself. This is crazy story. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I surely did. I'm going to actually go and reread some of the chapters so I can actually see, how to improve this and what to do if I can edit it to make it better. Have a great day, right? Bye bye.